Hello student, this is Rohit, computer teacher at MLZS JHANSI. Student, in this video we will discuss about some external storage devices. So let's start. Now, hard disk. Hard disk is a secondary storage device. This is a round flat piece of rigid metal, mostly aluminum is used, and disk is coated with magnetic oxide such as iron oxide. There are many variations, but the size are generally 3.5 inch and 2.5 inch for desktop and laptop computer respectively. A hard drive consists of one or more platters to which data is written using a magnetic head, all inside of an air-sealed casing. Internal hard disks reside in a drive bay connect to the motherboard using ATA or SCSI or SATA cable. Mostly the technology of hard disks we are using that is connected with the help of SATA cable and are powered by a connection to the PSU power supply unit. The platter present inside the hard drive are structured to facilitate the storage and retrieval of data. Each platter is divided into concentric rings called tracks. There are thousands of tracks on each platter. They look like the rings of a very old tree. Each track is divided into sectors. A sector as a rule holds 512 bytes of data. This is usually the minimum quantity of information which is independently addressable for storage on a hard disk drive. Today, hard drive platters have thousands of sectors in a single track. Nowadays, hard disks are of three types we are using: zip disk, or we can say Bernoulli disk, disk packs, and Winchester disk. Hard disk is the primary secondary storage device for most computers, laptop or desktop today. Here you can see the picture of a hard disk. Hard disk mostly used based on the random data processing, means you can save your data anywhere or you can retrieve it from anywhere. As a shared online secondary storage device, Winchester disk and disk packs are often used for this purpose. Mostly Winchester disk we are using nowadays, and to store a large amount of data and information we use the hard disk in our laptop and desktop. Nowadays we are using hard disk up to 1 terabyte, which is a large volume of information in which we can save. As a backup device for offline storage of data, floppy disk, zip disk and disk packs are often used for this purpose. Mostly we are using the hard disk. Next category of secondary storage, that is optical disk. Earlier we were using about the magnetic tapes, floppy disk and hard disk. Hard disk is very common, which is used today also, but the different categories for secondary storage, that is the optical disk. It consists of circular disk which is coated within a thin metal or some other material that is highly reflective. Laser beam technology is used for recording and reading of data on the disk. In these types of disk, we are using our disk drive, a hard disk drive, where we put up these optical disks to read and write, and the laser technology we are using to reading and writing data from disk or to disk. This is also known as laser disk or optical disk due to the use of laser beam technology. It is proved to be a promising random access medium for highly capacity secondary storage because it can store extremely large amount of data in a limited space. It has long spiral tracks which starts at the outer edge and spirals inward to the center, and track is divided into equal size of sectors. Here you can see the difference between the track patterns on a magnetic disk, such like a floppy disk or hard disk. This is a track pattern on magnetic disk, and this is the track pattern on optical disk. Any type of optical disk you are using, like CD, DVD or Blu-ray disk, this is the track pattern. This is a spiral track, and here you can see a track of a concentric circles. Here you can see the optical disk driver we require, and we have to connect this disk driver to our computer system. This disk driver has some buttons. There is a tray on which we have to put a optical disk, and by using the laser beam, this disk driver is enabled to write contents on that disk or to read contents from that disk. Now, here are some advantages of an optical disk. The cost per bit of storage for optical disk is very low because of their low cost and enormous storage density. Means large volume of data we can save, and the cost is very low compared to the magnetic tapes, compared to the floppy disk. That's why the optical disk is much popular than the floppy disk or the magnetic tapes. The use of a single spiral track makes optical disk an ideal storage medium for reading large blocks of sequential data such as music, like music CDs or video CDs. Mostly it's common because this uses a sequential block of system. Optical disk driver do not have any mechanical read and write head to rub against or crash into the disk surface. There is no mechanical system to read and write. Means such like a hard disk, there is no mechanical pen attached to it to read and write data from it. Optical discs have a data storage life in excess for 30 years. This makes them a better storage medium for data archiving as compared to the magnetic tapes or magnetic disk. Like in magnetic tapes or magnetic disks, we cannot store data for much time, but in the optical disk we can store data for a long time. That's why this is better option. As data once stored as an optical disk becomes permanent, danger of stored data getting inadvertently erased, overwritten is removed. Means there is no chances to loss of data present in optical disk. Due to their compact size and lightweight, optical discs are easy to handle, store and put from one place to another. It's very small in size, so we can easily port from one place to another place. We can easily store it, handle it. And music CDs can be played on a computer having a CD-ROM drive along with a soundboard and speakers. This allows the computer systems to be also used as the music systems. By using a music CD, we can make our system as like a music system. Optical discs are of three different types, that is compact disc CD, digital versatile disc DVD, and Blu-ray disc BD. Here you can see the difference between CD, DVD and Blu-ray disc. Their diameter and thickness is same. Means whenever you look any of the optical disc, it look like same. There is no difference, but the wavelength you can see the difference, the aperture of you can see the difference, the data rate is difference. Means in CD we can store up to 700 MB of data, but in DVD we can store up to 8.5 GB of data, and in Blu-ray disc we can store 50 to 54 GB of data. It means that storage capacity of Blu-ray disc is very much compared to the CD and DVD. And the transfer data rate means to writing and reading data from CD, DVD or Blu-ray disc is you can see from CD we can read and write data rate that is 1.2 MB per second. Here in DVD 11 MB per second, and in Blu-ray disc we can see 36 MB per second. Means for writing data on Blu-ray disc and reading data from Blu-ray disc is much faster than the CD and DVD. Blu-ray disc is using a blue laser technology, and the CD and DVD using the red laser technology.